Hey guys, Izzy here with DonnyFL. Today we're going to talk about my personal impact. We got a few modifications, a couple of additional things that I've done personally myself as far as machining a couple certain parts here. Most of the things that are on here are all upgrades. This gun started out as the FX Impact X. So this is before the MK2 came out. It was one time when they came out with the thinner Plenum right here. But we're gonna start from one end to the other and we'll move forward and also speak of some internal parts that have been changed to my personal specifications as well. We're not gonna go into too much detail on that because that's my secret sauce. But we'll go on and speak of everything that you guys see here. So we'll start up back here. First thing you notice is the Saber Tactical Bench monopod. This thing is adjustable up and down, left and right. Super smooth, super nice. I've done some additional modifications to it as well to tighten up the play on that. After that, we have the Saber Tactical buttstock. Right back here, you see that. Just back, it goes front, back as well. Oh, there we go. So, well, very adjustable here. There you go, you guys see it goes back and forth. You can also move it up and down if need be. So, very versatile, nice fit and finish. I'll go ahead and leave that off. The next thing up that I did is the Saber Tactical cheek riser. As you guys can see here, you loosen these two screws here. This whole thing is adjustable up and down. It works really well if you have really high scope rings. These are the FX No Limit scope rings. So most of you know that these are adjustable. You can bring the back of the scope up and the front down a little more to give you the additional distance when you're shooting at further distances. So this works out really well. Along with the cheek riser as well, I have a wooden cheek riser. It's a custom item. I got this from a gentleman on Facebook. His name is James Rid. He makes them in different colors. I got mine with a blue, black, and gray mixture to them. He has them in red, green, gray, the blues. I believe he came out with a couple of other new designs recently. Exactly, I do not know, but if you look up James Rid, he'll be able to hook you up with one of these as well. He also makes grips as well, along with the buttstocks. I did get the whole setup from him, including the cheek riser, the grip, and the buttstock at the end, but I just stuck with this for now, just to kind of give it the blue look. Blue is my favorite color. Alright, so we'll move on from there. I have an external plenum here as well. This was made by one of my buddies. He made it for me. And I just wanted the extra additional plenum airspace in there, the regulated air in there, just so I can bring my regulator pressure down even further, so I can still get the nice consistent shots that I've been getting with this, with the low regulated air pressure. So right now, as we speak, I am shooting at about 95 bar on the regulated side. So that's on this end. Inside the block here, I've done some machining that I did to myself. I opened up the ports and I smoothed them out a little bit so we get better air transition from the plenum and the external plenum into the transfer port on the barrel. So that's a little secret sauce that I have back there. I got a couple more things going on back there that I'm not going to get into at the moment. So now that we're back here and I just brought up the barrel, you guys can see that I have a different color barrel inside there. This is a titanium barrel tube. This was a product that one of my friends was selling for a while. He's no longer making them, but these are titanium. You see the little different color changes here. I just did that myself. It's a heat treating process to where you heat up the titanium and it changes into these cool colors. So inside this barrel, there's the 22 caliber liner. I did some other things with the liner as well. This is the slug liner, 700 millimeter, the superior. So one of the things that I did there, a lot of these people are putting the carbon fiber liner stiffeners to stiffen up the liner a little bit. So what I did something a little bit different. I got some PVC tubing and I cut it into 4 equal lengths and I slid it over the liner. So the outside diameter on this tubing is 7/16, the inside diameter is 5/16. It fits perfectly inside the barrel tube and perfectly over the liner. So what I'm doing is in between every section I'm putting the O-rings in there, and I leave a little bit longer room material, so I add additional material to that tubing, so when I tighten down my liner nut up in the front, it compresses all this tubing and the O-rings together, creating a nice tight stiff feel in there. So I'm going to say it's a compression fitting, so it compresses everything and holds everything nicely centered with no vibrations at all. So that's on the barrel side. I got my customized koi. I made this koi out of obviously the DonnyFL koi. I shaved down the edges on the front and back just to fit the carbon fiber tube over it. So what it is I replaced the outer shell. On the koi, and I machined the caps just so it matches the diameter of this. So the tube that's on here is the same tube that's over here. This is just a carbon fiber tube over my existing shroud. There is going to be a slight change down the road a little bit that is planned for the future. I do have a few other modifications on the back end right here to tension my barrel system so it doesn't vibrate as much, but I also knocked that problem out as well with this barrel bend, which we'll get to shortly. So yeah, just a koi that's been slightly modified. It works great. Now to move up a little bit further, I did install the Saber Technical ambidextrous cocking block. That's it right here. My good friend Ernest Rose sent me this cocking handle along with this little handle here. It is titanium as well, so I did the same heat treating on it to give it the nice cool little colors you see on there. I like it, it's a short throw. It allows me to cock the gun a little bit faster. The only downside to it does make it a little bit stiffer to cock it just because you brought the length from the original factory length from here to about here. So I believe it's about 1.25 inches long compared to the 2-inch long cocking lever. So that's that. I did do some trigger work to this as well, nothing too fancy. I did take it apart and I polished the sear on there, so it's a lot more predictable. So as soon as you hit the second stage, as soon as it moves from there, it's gonna go. I'll show you real quick. There's nothing in the gun at the moment, but you can see here, you can see this right there. So as soon as it goes from there, it breaks right away. So very predictable is what you really want on your gun. You don't want a gun that's going to creep on you on the trigger and not be as predictable when you expect it to shoot when it's still moving. So that's that. Back again a little bit farther forward, behind the shroud system here, I made a spacer that butts up against the body of the impact right here. So this spacer compresses right up against the shroud, so I tighten it, it creates that compression and allows the barrel to remain very stiff as well. But like I said again, I got this barrel band to help me with that as well. So we're gonna move a little bit lower here. I do have the Sabre Tactical ARCA 2 rail. This is our newest version of the Sabre Tactical rail for the impact. So it features the ARCA Swiss rail down at the bottom. If you've got a camera, tripod, this allows you to install that on that as well, along with a Picatinny rail section in the front, which is what I'm using at the moment to hold on to my IQ-Tac bipod. So one other feature that this rail offers is the M-lock system on both sides. If you want to add additional accessories, you can add additional Picatinny rails here. You can add flashlights, any attachment that works with the Magpul system, that's the M-lock, it will work with our extender rail as well. So another thing I got here is not a very big difference compared to everything else, but I have the Omega 580cc bottle. So I got that. When I first got it, it had the 480 bottle on there. So I just got that just to give me a little more shot count out of it. So now that we're up here, I'm going to tell you guys about this barrel band. This barrel band was made by Black Arts Design. I was talking to David from there. I told him my dimensions that I had on my barrel and the dimensions I had on my end of the bottle. And he was able to 3D print me this piece here for me. He does make a few other parts for the Avenger, some of the parts for the Crown, if I remember correctly. He makes these for the Dreamline, if I remember correctly. He's also coming up with a few other products, but good people to talk to, nice quality, it's super smooth. You hardly even see the 3D printing parts on there. You know, like when you get 3D printing parts, you see a bunch of little lines. These are super nice finishes on these. This is a carbon fiber filled filament, what they use on here. So it's super stiff. And one thing I really like about his design, and I'll show you guys, let me just take this off. So if you look under here, you see two set screws here. Inside this piece on the bottom is an additional piece. So when you tighten down these set screws, you're not pushing these set screws onto the bottle. You're pushing an additional piece of plastic that's in there up against the bottle, so you're not damaging the bottle. But if you can see there, I don't know if you can see the quality of this. It's super smooth, nice finish. I'll flip this over this way. So this is he sent me a sticker. I stuck it on there, you know, gotta promote him. But this is their design. I don't know if you can see that there. That's their name. If you need anything, look them up. You'll be able to talk to David. They'll take care of you pretty good. Flip this back over here. Alright, so now right here you see a gauge. These are digital gauges. A lot of people have heard of the Ed gun gauges. These are the SecMet gauges. Had a little technical difficulty here. There we go, got that. Alright, so these are the digital gauges. Very accurate. They're programmable. It'll tell you your shot count. I got two of them. I got one up here, one back here. I forgot to mention the one on the back. But these will tell you exactly how much air is in your bottle, how much shots you got left. It even tells you how much air you're using per shot, which is how it knows how much air you got left over from what you're filled. Gives you a few other information. I haven't really gone into them as far as those two basic information that I like going after. But really good gauges. There's a few sellers out there. I believe Ken Hicks from Southern Precision Southern Precision Weapons sells them as well. So you can look them up online. SecMet, S-E-K, I think, SEHK K-M-E-T, I believe, if I remember correctly. Actually, hold on. I think when you turn it on, it tells you here. Hold on. Sorry, guys. S-E-H-K-M-E-T. Second. Really good, really good gauges. Alright, so that's pretty much everything on the bottom side of the gun. We're going to move on to the top side. I already spoke about these scope rings. These are the FX No Limit rings. These are 34 millimeter. They are available in 1 inch, 30, and 34. So very adjustable. Like I said, you can adjust the back end of the scope up so the front of the barrel is facing up, so you get farther out at those shots when you're taking these long distance shots, like you see from Utah Air Guns from Justin. He does all kinds of crazy shots. I'm sure he uses a set of these or something similar. As far as the scope, I'm using the Element Titan. It's a really nice scope, super big body, so it's a 34 millimeter body. Very nice turrets. Everyone already knows that on these. A nice high quality scope for the price. You know, I really like this scope. Other than that, this is pretty much everything I've done to this thing. This is what I'm going to be using at R.M.A.C this year. If you have any questions or any thoughts on this, let me know. Oh, I did forget something else. So all my screws, if you can tell here, all my screws on the impact, you'll see them more on this side. All the screws on my impact, you see they're different color. They're all titanium screws. I replaced all of them with titanium. There are some stainless steel screws, like on the scope rings. It comes with stainless steel screws. There's some other few pieces that have stainless steel pieces. The only reason I did that is in the climate here in Florida, it's a very humid and salty environment. So your standard screws will rust and they will look very ugly. But nice thing about these screws, I don't know if you can see these two here, they're blue. Same thing, you can heat them up and change colors on them. You can see the coloring on that barrel tube there. Same process, I just heated it up, changed colors, and that's what I got. But yeah, there you go, guys. That's about it on my gun. Hopefully I see you guys out there.
Quick question. Can they hit you up about getting a custom moderator like that?
Yeah, normally we don't do it. I did this as a personal project. But if I do have the materials in-house to do them and the available time to do it, I'll be able to do it on my time. I'm not gonna do it on DonnyFL's time because that's not what we do there. But I'd be more than glad, you know, if I have the time to do it, I'll be more than glad to do it. At the time, I only have the carbon fiber tubes for this dimension, so I'd be able to do the koi and the tanto if you really want one. They work really well. They're light. They're about probably about 8 to 10 grams lighter than the original setup. But on that same subject, we do have the DonnyFL Fat Boy coming out pretty soon. So if you want carbon fiber, you will get carbon fiber down the road. If I remember correctly, there's going to be a couple of new models. We're going to have the original Fat Boy and probably a couple of new different sizes on it as well. So don't tell anyone I told you this, but carbon fiber Fat Boy is coming back.
You kind of told everybody, bro.
Oh, okay, take that out. Yeah, you know, if you have any questions, if you're interested in something like this, let me know. If I got the time and materials to do it, I can definitely do it for you. One thing that I will tell you is if I do this, the carbon fiber tubing will be on my dime, but I will need to get the baffle system and the rear cap from DonnyFL, so you will need to pay for those on a separate time. And I will do it. I will machine it down to where it needs to be. It works just the same as it does on the original koi. The rear cap comes off, the whole thing comes out, and it's actual solid carbon fiber tubing. None of that sticker stuff you see out there. So you see a little bit of the machining I did to it. If you want the front to remain black, I can leave it black, or if you want the little design up here, I can machine it a little so you get a little more bling out of it. And then the same thing on the rear cap. But yeah, pretty much that's what it is. All carbon fiber.
I got another question.
Yeah.
A lot of people that's viewing this video is probably gonna have this, question popping up through their head. I mean, it's an awesome looking gun, but how much do you think you've spent to make it as awesome as it is?
With everything that I've added on it, so I've added a bunch of stuff and I've removed some stuff that I wasn't comfortable with. Obviously, everything's all saber tactical. I did have some other company accessories on that I was not happy with. But at the end, with what I have here is what I like. And with some of the machining that I've done in here, which it's all I personally machined it. So if I would have done something like that, I'd probably say I have close to about $8,000 to $10,000 in it.
Jeez.
If you wanna count ammo, the compressor, the bottles, and everything, it's probably closer to about 15,000 into it, since I started with this gun itself as far as buying everything I need for it. This bipod, that's almost $500 for this. It's like $480 if I remember correctly at the time when I bought it. I think now they're a little bit less, but it's an awesome bipod, very adjustable. And I forgot I actually talk about it. If you want a nice solid bipod, AccuTech makes the best bipods, in my opinion. You got all these adjustments. You can bring the legs out. So, and I don't know if you just saw, you can loosen this, you can turn it, you tighten it down, retractable legs. Nice thing also on it, you can cant your gun left and right. So if you're on an oddball surface, you can put it up higher and tilt the gun to make it as level as possible. So the adjustment on these they're awesome. They're very nice. You can move this all the way back there. It moves all the way forward and all the way forward as well. So very versatile, very adjustable. All solid aluminum with high grade steel on these. They didn't skimp out on quality on these. Everything is top notch on these bipods. And they have different ones. The one I have here is one of the bigger ones that they have. Let me set this down. So you can see that stance on this, how wide this thing is. And if you extend the legs even further out, you get an additional, I'm gonna say about 3 inches extra of width on there. Pretty close, something like that. And nicely cut out, for what it is, it's a little heavy, but they did do some cutouts here to deal with that weight. But the strength on these are super, super solid. They do have these in different configurations. They have them in the Picatinny option, and they also have in the Arca option as well. But yeah, the adjustment on these, it's very, very fine. The machining is super, super smooth. So you can see the movement here, and you adjust the tension on this here too. So if it's too loose for you, tighten it up a little bit and it's a lot smoother. Lock it down. If these handles aren't where you want it to be, you pull them out and you can rotate them and they lock in place in different positions. Same thing with this back one here. You lock it in place there to where you want it to be, not to where it's just gonna end up at. And some Picatinny rails are a little bit wider than others. They do give you an adjustment on that. So when you tighten this down, it goes in, but if, let's say, it's too narrow, and it's not clamping down all the way. You push down on it and you adjust this screw in or out according to where you need it, and you just flip it until you feel a nice snug resistance on there to where it clamps on and it's going to be secured. But again, pure quality on these things. These things are expensive, but in my opinion, they're worth it. If you're doing a lot of bench shooting, these work amazing. They actually use these for real firearms, is what they're actually meant for. They have some smaller ones. They have the same thing that has a pivoting for the small one, but it's a thinner leg right here. But yeah, so that's the Accutech. You know, I'm gonna say this is probably my favorite accessory out of this whole thing that I have on here, just because of how well it works and how high quality it is. I don't think I can see myself using anything else other than this. But yeah, guys, that is it. We're gonna cut this video here. You know, if you guys have any questions, please let us know. I will try to answer them as fast as possible, or comment on them as well. If you see anything that you like, ask me and I can give you a little more information on it. We'll see what we can do. Alright guys, have a good one.